In this video, I'll go over the diet strategy I use and have used for clients with type 2 diabetes. As usual, I really want to make it more about lifestyle change and less about symptom management, which I'll talk about more. This diet strategy will work for any manifestation of insulin resistance, not just type 2 diabetes. Other types include, but are not limited to, PCOS, fatty liver, atherosclerosis, Alzheimer's, and small intestinal bacterial overgrowth, or SIBO. If you like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up and click the bell for more health and fitness educational content. Type 2 diabetes is a metabolic condition where your cells have started to ask for more insulin in order to take in glucose, kind of like super spoiled children that require some discipline. Your cells being able to take in glucose in a smooth and effective way is how your body has energy for everything. So this relationship between cells, insulin, and glucose is one that we want to nurture. With type 2 diabetes, think of it as a relationship that you are fixing. In a dysfunctional family, it doesn't matter if things are managed. We want a long-term solution, and we need to communicate what needs to be communicated in order to restore harmony. So think of your body with type 2 diabetes the same as a dysfunctional family. It's just going to need some good nutrients, exercise, and love to restore harmony. Your cells have gotten inefficient like spoiled kids who don't want to do their chores. A smooth running household means everyone needs to be on the same page and know what their job is and how they are contributing. The good news is almost all symptoms of type 2 diabetes can be managed through diet. I want to scream this from the mountaintops that if you are doing any dietary change, you must treat it as a lifestyle change. You cannot reverse any state of health through short-term approaches. So food is so emotional, and when you ignore the emotional relationship you have with food and go straight for a quick fix, then you are missing out on the satisfaction of actually healing, and you aren't getting to the root cause. That's why I lean away from the term management, because symptoms management to me does not get to the root cause, which is always emotional. Anyways, think of insulin resistance as a form of nutrient deficiency. With the dietary approach I'm going to talk about, it is very much add more of this instead of eliminate this. Because when you add more nutrients, you are naturally going to eat less calorically dense foods and more nutrient-rich foods. So you'll lean away from nutrient lacking foods and lean into foods that actually make you feel good. To make this ultra simple, we want to focus on two things: smaller meals and more nutrients in those meals. Smaller meals, more nutrients in those meals. One more time, smaller meals, more nutrients. That's it. You could probably turn off the video at this point. Just kidding, let's dive into that a little more. So there are essentially two reasons you're eating. One, for nutrients and energy, and two, for comfort. Type 2 diabetes is developed from a long-term relationship with food based on comfort. To reverse type 2 diabetes, you need to reverse your relationship with food. It is reversed by changing your relationship with food from one based on comfort to one based on nutrients. So let's differentiate the way that you feel before and after eating for comfort versus nutrients. When you eat for comfort and you have insulin resistance, your mood is low prior to eating, and then after eating you feel sleepy and very low energy. When you are eating for nutrients and energy, and your metabolism is healing, your mood is medium to good before eating, and after you eat, you feel satisfied and maybe even energized. This is important because you're going to make much different food choices in a low mood than you are in a medium to good mood. I think that statement is pretty relatable for everyone, so I won't get too much into the science weeds with it, but just remember that your mood and your emotions around food impact what food does for you quite a bit. I think it's important to know this because you shouldn't need to wear a continuous glucose monitor, which in Canada is expensive. You could fairly easily understand what food is doing by paying attention to how you feel. So all you need to remember, if your goal is type 2 diabetes reversal and weight loss, is how food should make you feel. You don't need to track macros necessarily, although I do have some clients that do that as well. You just need to remember the basic rule of smaller meals, higher nutrients, and pay attention to how you feel before and after eating. Now that we are on the same page in terms of how food should make you feel, the next question is what exactly that meal is made of. Great question. There are 3 main components to a well-rounded insulin-friendly meal, and it's not carbs, protein, and fat like you might think. It's protein, fiber, and omega-3. Protein is the macronutrient that will feed your gut and muscle amino acids it needs to promote growth of muscle, which is your body's most efficient burner of blood sugars. Fiber is eaten by your gut bacteria, which your bacteria then use to produce short chain fatty acids that make your cells more efficient at using glucose for energy. So it will make your cells more insulin sensitive and make your gut happier. And a happy gut means a better mood, which we know will lead to better food choices. Omega-3 has almost too many benefits for me to list, but the main thing is omega-3 is the most potent anti-inflammatory nutrient. And inflammation makes your body more insulin resistant. So when your body isn't inflamed, you can use more energy for learning, focus, exercise, and healing. So just remember, protein for muscle, fiber for the gut, and omega-3 for the brain. So an example of a really awesome type 2 diabetes reversal super meal would be grass-fed steak or salmon for protein and omega-3, and sauteed spinach or kale as a side with maybe something fermented like kimchi, sauerkraut, or pickles. Another example would be fish cooked in grass-fed butter, salad with olive oil drizzle, and a marinated onion garnish. Now, there are a percentage of people watching this video who are eating right now in a way that is very, very different from what I just described. And I want to mention this because when it comes to behavior change and lifestyle change, it doesn't happen all at once. So for those of us that are ready and willing to change, the diet that I just described may sound very different from your now reality, and I would recommend just picking one meal a day that you will follow the protein diet and omega-3 rule for, and then build from there. I have a lot of compassion for people that struggle to make good food choices, because the reality of the world we live in is that there are tons and tons and tons of choices, and your self-worth is not determined by your choices, but your choices are determined by your level of perceived self-worth. So don't hold yourself to a standard that you don't feel ready for. Just take baby steps and remember that you deserve happiness just as much as the next person. Let me know in the comments if this helps and if there are any topics mentioned today that would be fun to expand on more. Until then, remember that you have the power to change any aspect of your life, especially your health.